Our next entry brings us to Gears 2, where something is sinking cities and causing major seismic activity, so the COG are ordered to investigate and descend into the Hollow. Marcus, Dom and Carmine fight the Locust on their turf, reunite with the coal train, save Baird, and just so happen to stumble across exactly what they're looking for.
It's a giant worm! They're sinking cities with a giant worm!
Quickly realising that they're outnumbered and overwhelmed by the Locust horde, the COG rush off to a roof of a wrecked structure and signal a King Raven to pick them up. But with the Riftworm on their tail, they're cutting it close, and here they're met with a gigantic surprise.
Carmine!
In a previous entry, I mentioned how Gears of War 2 was my favourite for its variety of gameplay types and locations, and other than the dramatic loss of Carmine, inside the Riftworm defines that. It's fantastic.
Oh, come on, stop pissing it off! How the hell you gonna tell me when not to shoot in here? Look at this shit!
The variety is awesome, from outrunning a wall of debris where it's still feeding.
What kind of meat you want? Center cut, ribeye, T-bone?
Avoiding the Riftworm's digestive teeth.
Alright, keep in step with me, don't fall behind!
Watching out for jets and pools of acid.
Go, go, go! I don't get nightmares, but I know I'm gonna be seeing this shit in my sleep.
Traversing through its intestines, trying your best not to suffocate.
This place stinks like gas, man.
Ass? More like cheesy writing. Toe jam ass.
We gotta get the hell out of here!
Which ultimately leads to finding the Riftworm's hearts.
I still hear a heartbeat.
God damn it. Looks like we still got our work cut out for us. You know, like cut with the Lancer. Never mind.
Due to the size of the Riftworm having multiple hearts, 3 in total, the Gears hunt them down, cutting the arteries one by one, whilst fighting off the Riftworm's secondary digestive system in the Nemesites, to eventually causing a heart attack, bringing the Riftworm down and cutting their way out of the beast.
God damn it.
Overall, inside the giant Riftworm was fantastic, as it was a setting you never ever expected to be in. To see how the COG reacted and handled each situation was entertaining. To its variety of gameplay styles and predicaments really sets it out as a key moment from the entire Gears series. And finally, to its ending moment, to see the situation in which the boys are placed in really put the icing on the cake, earning this, the number 4 spot. Our next entry takes us to where it all began, with Gears of War 1, where there's a firefight taking place in the streets, and the head of the Locust military, General Ram, and his forces are proving far too dominant for the COG to handle.
No, we're here for Alpha and the Resonator, come on!
Overwhelmed, outmatched, and with the loss of Kim, the COG have no choice but to retreat to the Tomb of the Unknown, where it becomes quickly apparent that they are not alone.
Quiet. Don't move.
What was that?
A Berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
Admittedly, the footage I'm using here is from Gears of War Ultimate, but nevertheless, the first time you come across a Berserker in Gears of War 1, you really got that sense of dread, fear, and the atmosphere it created was amazing. It's a moment I'll personally never forget.
We gotta get fucking out of here, man!
Kill us!
Oh my god.
Completely unprepared for this situation, Marcus seeks advice from Control, who reveals to them that standard weapons won't work, but the Hammer of Dawn will, though only outside, so they need to lure the Berserker into the courtyard. Marcus and Dom were sent to save Cole and Baird, so that's exactly what they're going to do, and deal with the Berserker themselves. with sections of the tomb blocked off by solid doors and unable to beat the Berserker with standard weapons. You have to essentially use yourself as bait, so she would smash her way through the doors. I've never seen the Gears of War series as a horror genre, though it does show slight elements of fear, though this first initial encounter with the Berserker from Gears of War 1 really delivers on that. Tension was through the roof, you were against a countdown, yet at the same time you had to be patient, as one wrong move and it would all be over, to eventually luring the Berserker outside to deploy the Hammer of Dawn. There were a total of 3 Berserkers in Gears of War 1, but it was that first initial encounter which really left a mark on the series, providing such dread and tension, overall creating such an awesome atmosphere, truly making it a defining moment from the series, earning this the number 3 spot. At the end of Gears 3, Marcus Phoenix would finally kill Queen Myrrah, and it would seem it's the end of the Locust Horde, though we would learn that Queen Myrrah's consciousness is very much still alive in the Locust hive mind, and due to Dr. Niall Sampson, the Locust aren't quite finished yet. This would lead to the events of Gears 4, and after 25 years of peace on Serra, the Locust would emerge in their crystalline shells, evolved as scions, and in order to rebuild their army, they create the Swarm. With Queen Myrrah's consciousness still alive throughout the hive mind, she's able to guide the Swarm, though what they lack is a true queen. But Queen Myrrah learns that her daughter, Reyna, has survived and shares the same Locust hive mind connection, so she orders the Swarm to take her to become the Swarm Queen. Kate would come to her mother's rescue at the end of Gears 4, freeing her from her torment, ending her life. Meaning that Queen Myrrah has failed to possess her daughter, although her body and consciousness still remain within the hive. Her next target is her granddaughter, Kate herself, who's the next in line. Using Kate's connection to the hive mind, Queen Myrrah begins to haunt Kate with visions, premonitions, hallucinations and nightmares, eventually leading her to Mount Kadar Laboratory to find answers about her heritage. She finds out all about the origins of the Locust, her heritage, and her connection to Queen Myrrah, and demands that Niles, the AI construct, shows her how to sever her link to the Locust hive mind. Kate enters the imaging machine in order to do so, though Niles tricks Kate and gets her to reawaken her mother, Reyna, which ultimately severs Kate's link to the hive mind, and Queen Myrrah is able to reawaken as Reyna, a queen once more. Myrrah is back. This brings us to a later act in Gears 5, where everyone has gathered around to come up with a plan about where and how to hit the Swarm next.
We need an actual target.
If we're selecting targets, shouldn't someone with real military authority be here?
Marcus's response to Foz here was just legendary. It came out of nowhere, was so unexpected, and ideally deserves a spot on this chart, all on its own. If you haven't seen it, watch now.
It's Foz, right?
Yes sir.
Shut the f*** up, Foz.
Brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. The COG devise a plan to hit back at the Swarm by deploying targeting beacons so the Hammer of Dawn has a radius in which to fire in. Everyone works together, battling the Swarm army and backing up Paddock at the Tomb of the Unknown, which leads them behind the tomb where they deploy the final beacon. The Swarm literally chuck everything at the COG whilst they're trying to defend the beacon, though with the Hammer of Dawn at their side, it evens the odds. Though this is where things start to go horribly wrong, as they're hit with one hell of a nasty surprise.
Delta, what happened?
The beacon!
The Swarm's Kraken attacks and destroys the targeting beacon, meaning there's no Hammer of Dawn, also catching the cogs unaware, removing their weapons. As Kate looks on, she's about to have a most unwelcome family reunion.
You failed us!
What are you?
We are what you could have been.
You might have her body, but you're not my mother!
The new Queen of the Swarm, Queen Reyna, who from Gears 4 to now has been built up so well, quickly immobilises Kate as JD and Del come in to make the save. She makes quick work of them, immobilises them, and makes you make a monumental decision.
You had a choice, and you squandered it. alive or dead, you belong to us.
You will save either JD's life or Dell's. This was such an unexpected and tough decision, and like many of you out there, you've tried to fight your way out of it, but you can. There's no two ways about it. You can't throw the blade at her, it won't let you, and if you take your time, they both die, so you're screwed either way. The impact of Kate's decision to save JD or Dell is so fatal, because no matter who you save, you have to watch the other die right before your very eyes. The deaths themselves were done with such brutality and detail, it was truly hard to watch.
You've made your choice.
And over the course of the past two games, the Coalition had built these characters up so well, you really start to get to know them and form a bond, yet they make you take one away. But it's also knowing no matter what decision you make, it's going to affect the rest of the game and further on the series. As harsh of a decision as it was, you can't deny that the Coalition really caught everybody by surprise. In all, this was an absolutely phenomenal moment. Everything was built up perfectly. Queen Rhaena proved to be an absolute badass, and the tough decision in which you had to make, which has major implications going forward. I honestly believe the Coalition really outdid themselves here on Gears 5, especially with this key and defining moment which really stands out amongst the series. So overall, this earns the number 2 spot. The Gears of War series as a whole is entertaining and enjoyable from start to finish, and it proves this by keeping many of us hooked till the very end. But one thing that I truly admire about the series, and it's what a lot of other franchises are scared to do, is that it doesn't matter if you're a side character or a main character. Everyone is expendable and no one is safe. So far throughout the Gears series, we've lost a variety of characters, such as Alicia Valera, Anthony Carmine, Min Young Kim, Ty Caliso, Benjamin Carmine, Maria Santiago, Richard Prescott, Adam Phoenix, Colonel Urza Pound-Loomis, Sophia Hendrick is presumed dead, Rhaena Diaz, Elizabeth Carmine, Oscar Diaz, Jack. Depending on your decision, you either lose JD or Dell, and we even lose Anya. This series honestly shows you that it isn't for the faint of hearted. Everyone is expendable and no one is safe. But you may have noted from the list I just read out that there was one name I never mentioned, because it's the most heartbreaking of them all, and our number 1 entry. The COG enter Maria's hometown of Mercy to gain fuel for the submarine to enter Azura. But before they're able to achieve this, they become under attack from the Locust, which are quickly joined by the Lambent forces. Before you know it, they're completely overwhelmed.
We're surrounded! There's too many! We're not gonna make it!
Hold them off! Just hold them off!
With the group separated, being completely outnumbered and overwhelmed, Dom analyses the situation, realising they're not going to survive, so he makes a rash decision.
Get out of there! Jump!
Dom has been through so much up to this point and refuses to lose any more of his friends, so he drives away as Marcus looks on, wondering what the hell is going on.
Dom! Dom, where are you going?
The look on Dom's face says it all, as the tone of the music changes, the Lambent forces increase, Marcus, Sam and Anya's fate is drawing near. The decision that Dom's made really starts to sink in, as he starts to accept the outcome and embrace his final moments.
Dom, what the f*** are you doing?
Pulling the plug on him, Marcus! Jump, will you? Do it!
Dom warns the others to get out of there, puts his foot down and goes as fast as he can to make the ultimate sacrifice to save his friends. As it finally dawns upon Marcus, hearing Dom's warning, exactly what Dom's about to do.
Never thought it would end like this, huh? Huh, Maria?
Dom! No!
Dom drives into the tanker in the fueling depot at full speed, causing a massive explosion. Before doing so, speaks out to Maria, making the ultimate sacrifice to save his friends. Dom's ultimate sacrifice in Gears 3 earns the top spot on this chart because it was so emotional, but more importantly, I never ever expected to lose Dom. This moment in all was so heartbreaking and completely unexpected. To witness Dom's sacrifice after the relationship we've built up towards his character, knowing we're going to have to go forward without him, yet it was so noble, and at the same time, you were almost happy for him as he was finally able to rejoin his wife Maria, who he misses so very much, delivering a truly outstanding moment, earning our #1 spot and our best moment from the Gears series.
Marcus! He's gone! He's gone! There's nothing you can do! Stop
Get
it!
off me! God
Stop
damn it!
it!
Let me get him out of there!
So that brings us to the end of this video, the end of this countdown, so thank you very much for watching. I absolutely love the Gears series, and as you've just seen from this video, it's full of fantastic moments. Now, as you may have noticed, Gears of War Judgment wasn't mentioned in this chart. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic in its own right, but there was no real moments which really left an impact on me. But saying that, I can't wait for Gears 6. Now, I've been Gavinci, thank you very much for watching. If you get a chance, check out some of these other videos, and if you can, please follow me, share my videos, subscribe, and follow my other social media accounts to keep up with my latest entries. Again, I can't thank you enough. I've been Gavinci, and I'll see you next time.